Welcome, everybody, to It Matters Radio Musical Guest Interview. If you've been here before, you know that I am Monica Brinkman, and I am hosting the musical guest interviews. Quickly, I know that it normally carries with us, but if you've watched the show and you've followed us, you know that unfortunately she passed away. So our prayers are with her family and, of course, all of us. But she was so excited, and I had to tell you this also, my guest. This is Samir Haddad, but hey, we're going to call him Sam because that's what his friends call him, and I hope we can be friends.
Sure.
And he's with a band called Smoke the Bees. And Sam, tell me, how long have you been with Smoke the Bees?
We've been playing in this formation as a trio for almost 4 years now. It's 3.5 years. And
Okay. Well, it's
I
going
joined the
on
band.
for.
I joined the band when their drummer wasn't really working out, and so Smoke the Bees existed before, but I joined, and then we took a different direction, so to
Had you
speak.
ever heard them prior to your joining them? Did you hear them play?
Actually, I checked them out, and the first thing that really got me interested was the name. Smoke the Bees.
Yeah, it's
What the
catchy.
heck is that about, right? You know? So I had to, I contacted them, and then, of course, Lorenzo, with whom the guitarist and lead singer, he explained it to me, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Actually, now that you bring that up, I have to tell people what that officially means. And it says, and you can see this on their website, it's a beekeeper smokes the bees to make them dizzy and get the honey with no danger. In the same way humans get lost in everyday distractions while their lives go by. This is a modernist metaphor about society's homogenization and individual alienation. So I thought that was well thought out. You've covered quite a bit in that one statement, though.
Yeah.
You can play music about anything, and you'll be safe.
Totally, totally, yeah.
Oh gosh, I just love it. Okay, so th- you know what? People listened to your music. They heard a bit of your music before you came on the air with us, and tell people whose styles you admire most, and did you bring any of that into your own sound?
Well, as a band, I think we're all three of us are really uh, admirative and influenced by Radiohead. Although our music has nothing to do with Radiohead, clearly. I mean, they're on a planet on their own, I think.
Yeah, they're quite
But
good, aren't
yeah, we
they?
re- we really us three appreciate and admire Radiohead. So certainly, I mean that's a point of influence. Although I have to say I find when I'm not objective, of course, but when I listen to our tunes, it's a little bit of Smoke the Bees. You can hear something there, but I feel there's an identity. I
you're
can't say we
prob
imitate somebody.
you're probably going to think I'm crazy, but when I listen to you, yes, I heard, little bits of Radiohead, but I also heard of all things a bit of Jim Morrison and the Moody Blues within your music.
Yeah.
It's You create drama within it, and that is you tell a story with your music. Eh,
Well, the thing is, I didn't want to cut you off. Sorry, if you want to keep on
Oh, no,
going.
no, no.
Oh.
You go right
Well, I
ahead.
was going to say this album, Mesmerize, for us, it's already 2 years old. And so we've come a long ways now. In our live concerts now, there's only a couple tunes from the album Mesmerize that we still play. And now we have about, I think we're about at 14 new tunes.
Mm.
And And so we're ready for our next album, but we're just waiting a little bit because we really want to have a producer this time, and we'd like to do things well. We'd love to have a booking agent to really promote the album. So we're kind of holding off, and we're just writing a lot of material. And we're so fortunate that we have approximately, I think it's about 130 songs that are half kind of finished.
Yes,
And
so
so
you've a lot, a big catalog to go back to.
yeah, we're very, very, very prolific, and so we were able. Now we got down to 12 tunes, and there's a bit of Mesmerize in it, of course. But when I'm talking about Mesmerize, our album, for me, it's already old in some way.
Yeah,
That was like we've gone some ways forward from that time.
has your style changed in any way, or is it always changing?
I think it's changed. Gosh, it's so hard. I'm not objective, of course, but I
Yes.
see it. It's a little bit more rock, a little bit more, not hard. It's not harder, but it's a little bit more rock, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's got
can
an
see
edge
that.
to it.
And I'm really
Yeah.
excited. You're going to have to let us know when you get that all together so we can share
Yeah.
it. And maybe you can even come back, huh, and talk to us.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you.
Now, who writes the lyrics to the songs?
Well,
D-
Lorenzo writes the lyrics. We have a kind of way of doing things, us three, is that whoever comes out with a melody has to write the lyrics. So he usually writes all the lyrics, and incidentally, we just made a new tune, and I came up with the melody. So it was my turn to write the lyric this time. But usually, it's 99%. He's the singer, so he writes the lyrics.
okay. All right. Well, that happens a lot. That's not uncommon. But
Yeah,
I always think it's nice when you get to hear from other members of the band also. you know.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
always love the drum solos too because I feel bad. I know people love drummers, but I feel bad because you're always sitting usually in back of the rest of them.
Yeah,
You don't have
totally.
that front seat connection there, so it's almost
We're
great.
like in sports. I always say we're the goaltender.
You are.
So if we win the game, it's not because of us, because we certainly didn't make any goals. But if we lose, it's our fault. So
That's right. Hey, you always need one person like that, right?
so yeah, that's a bit the drummer's role. But as I say, we're the heartbeat. The people move to the beat. That's the most. I think humans. The first things they ever did was hit on pieces of wood and whatnot. So I think the drums really, as you said, you like drum solos. I love drum solos, but not just because I'm a drummer. It's just because I think the drums brings us back to this original pulse.
Well, they have drum festivals all over the world where
Oh yeah.
people just come and play drums. And if no one has gone to one, they need to. They're fascinating.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Fabulous.
I'm sure you've been to some. Huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I used to be in an African drumming band, actually.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet
And
you
they
put some of that in your music every once in a while too. Huh?
well, I don't, because I really sucked at it, but they're really good.
Truthful, yes. That is too funny. Oh gosh. Well, tell you what. I also wanted to know a little bit about the other members of the band. Could you briefly let us know their names and what they contribute to the band itself?
Of course. Well, first and foremost, there's Lorenzo, and Lawrence, as I call him, and he is the founder, original member of the band. He started on his own, and he's a young lad. He's 20. No, he's 30 now. He's 30 years old, and he lives also here in Turin, Italy.
Good, good.
And he is in somehow being the voice, the main vocals. I think he's kind of the soul of the band. It's our sound. People, when you hear a band, you hear first and foremost the melody, and so of
Yeah.
course we always hook up with the voice. Yeah. So his role is so important, obviously. And then there's the bass player, whose name is Maze. It's actually his nickname, but everybody calls him Maze. So Maze he's the bass player, and he's my partner in crime. And so being being the drummer, him and I share a very, very strong relationship. Of course, also being a trio, as you probably know, a trio, there's no room for mistakes. There are no keyboards to cover up. There's no second guitar. There's just us three.
That's right.
And you have to be really, really solid with your bass player. And Maze is an amazing bassist, in my opinion.
That's wonderful. Is there anything you could tell us about them that maybe we don't know?
I could tell you lots of things. I'm not sure.
But be kind to them. I
mean, what exactly do you have in mind?
Okay, I'm just wondering, it just seems to me that a band, when they get together, they really form a family.
Yeah.
You kind of have to at some point, especially when you're in the studio. And you pick up on their personality and, things that people might not know. It could be a hobby they like or something funny they did. Like there's usually the comedian in the band, and then there's the serious one.
Yeah, no, I think we're pretty much three pretty light-hearted individuals. We don't take much of anything seriously. Smoke the bees, we understand the meaning of that, so it's not superficial as the meaning, but the name notwithstanding, we're fairly, we just goof around, and we're just playing music, we're doing what we love. So I mean, I think they both have lots of things I could say, but I'm not sure what it is I could actually tell you that's so
well, they'll
unique
just
or
have
special.
they'll have to come on once you get that album together, and we'll ask them that question.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Yeah.
Okay, but for now, I think it's time that we listen to a little bit more of your music because I adore it and can't wait to hear it. Folks,
Okay.
We will be back in just a few again. Here we
Hey, days of them for a long time. Hope, sorrow in my heart deep. Fed them one by one, sweet. We they poisonous have my gift for them, death, which is better than the last freedom. You stopped instead, I caught your smile. I'm just no good, no good. It's too late to dream of
My coffee queen, where have you been?
all of the things we said. Where does the time all go?
I'm gonna do you guys a little John party, so if you like it, please give it a like, share, subscribe.
Welcome back, folks. This is Monica Brinkman, and I am back speaking with Sam. And gosh, we've just heard some more music from this wonderful, wonderful group. And I first wanted to ask you, because we've heard two songs now, if people said, oh my gosh, I love this, where can I get this? What's the best place for them to go to purchase your music?
Well, they can go pretty much anywhere. I mean, we're on iTunes, Spotify. They can go anywhere.
Okay.
Really easy to find. They can go on our website as well. www.smokethebees.com. So we're quite easy. If somebody's curious, they find us, no problem.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, and I want to let everybody know you are in Italy right now, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay, what time is it there? Just curious.
It's actually 9 p.m.
9 p.m. And right where I am, of course, I'm in California. It's only 12 something p.m.
Yeah. Right, we've got a lot of time difference.
I know it's huge, isn't it?
That's
But
crazy.
thank God for the internet, I tell you.
Yeah. Right.
Have you meet a lot of people when you go on tour? And I was wondering if you had met anyone at any specific venue or while on tour that stood out in your mind.
Well, of course, there's many people we've met, other bands, and but there's one guy in particular who's in Belgium, and he has this small cafe, and he's one of the first ones who had us play out there in Antwerp, Belgium, and I really always think of him because I told him even that one day if we did make it, how improbable that is, we all know, but if we ever did, I would
Right.
always come back to play his place because it's a small, really really tiny place. It's always packed, and he's always pays us
Oh,
decent money. He's always giving us dinner. We sleep upstairs. I mean, the place is a dive. I mean, it's a dive, right? But oh yeah, totally.
but it's
But
packed, huh?
it's packed, and it's really the heart of rock and roll. It's really, and it's people like him. I'm so grateful for people like him who have just this place, and they invite bands to come. They pay the bands.
Yes.
He comes and dances while we're playing. I mean, he's totally into it. And I mean, I this guy, his name's Robin, and he's always in my thoughts. And
Oh,
all the people like him who actually, they're not seen as artists because they are businessmen. They have a venue, but without them, we wouldn't be playing anywhere.
right. And you know, I love that you stated that because many aren't appreciative of even the little folks, but it sounds like, man, he gets packed, that he's pretty popular, but he gave you an opportunity when someone else would not. And I think that's something that is a wonderful gesture, and I bet you that's why bands keep coming back to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's, for me, it's always humbling to always be reminded of that. And I really hope we make it, and I really hope we'll go back there, even if we do make it, because
Right.
it'll be just a lot of fun.
Now, do you have any type of theme running through the new album that you're creating, or are you not at that point yet? Are you still going through different songs and deciding?
We don't have a theme yet as an overall, album. I think there's a musical kind of vibe throughout the tunes. It's definitely a little bit darker, a little bit maybe melancholic, a little bit. Rock, but it's we do some stuff in minor. It seems because it's not a conscious choice. I mean, the music just comes out and we actually start playing, and that's what comes out. So I would say there isn't a theme, like a intellectual theme that was decided, beforehand. But the music certainly has a kind of a darker feel to it. Yeah.
Okay. What I guess I was trying to find out is there any message that you're trying to get out through your music?
Well,
Or are there several messages?
I would venture that what any artist really who's painting, writing music, writing poetry, or sculpting, inevitably is passing on some kind of message, whether it be conscious or unconscious.
Mhm.
So I think that's part of art in general. Art is just stuff goes through you and you just express it, and who knows if what it means or what. I think there is part of us who a part of rebellion, I think, somehow that comes through the music. There is something of the nature of Smoke the Bees. That there is a
Social
sense that
consciousness, right? Yeah.
yeah, there's such a sense of everybody needs to be put asleep for some other purpose, and there is also a sense now that a lot of people are actually waking up in every sense of the term and going, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? Thanks to the internet and so on. So I would think there is a sense, I can sense there's something of rebellious, I think.
Yeah,
in
and
music.
people say rebellion like it's a nasty word, but we people have to take responsibility for what the world is like today. Because no matter what, we allowed it to happen. And by just making people aware of information, or even thoughts or concepts by your music, you are communicating with them in a positive way.
Absolutely.
Even though it might sound it's negative, it's not, because you have to communicate with people. And it's just like, people might view, let's say, the U.S. right now as, we hate everybody who's not an American, blah, 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 blah. Well, the truth is that most of the people I know, and I know many, many people, adore people from other countries.
Of course.
And I love that the internet allows us not to only express music, to each other, but also to communicate with each other. And
yeah, absolutely. And I think America, I've been to the States many, many times, and I think it's the perfect, everybody calls it the cliche of a melting pot, but that's exactly what it is. And being American means being Hispanic, being Irish, being British, being French, being from all over the world. That's what Americans are, essentially. And so I think America is really predisposed in some way to be open to other cultures, even though the media might not convey this.
Yes.
But I think the reality, when you actually meet Americans, I always meet very, very friendly people who are curious of where you're from, and oh my goodness, it must be so nice. And I reckon most of the media, general media, and maybe governments just would like to separate. They'd like to separate and make antagonisms between cultures and between people. I think the reality is just not. It's just not how it is when you meet people in concerts,
Exactly.
or it's all the contrary. People
And
just want to get along.
don't you think music is one of the best spans of communication within the world?
Absolutely. Not only that, I think it's the only art form that I know of where even with the people you're actually playing with, so not as a listener, but as a performer, it's the only art form that I know of where you can actually do things without talking about it. And we do things together, and actually together it's better than
Yes.
if you're
Isn't
alone.
that something?
And I mean, it's just amazing. And so I think that when this happens, we call it jamming, of course. But when a jam is good, it becomes a song, and when the song is good, people respond to it
Yes,
without
they do.
having to explain anything. It's like what we were saying before: the pulse, the melody, and it just hits us right here as humans. And so I think music is extremely powerful.
It is. And you meet people from all over the world. I mean, you play with people from all over the world.
Absolutely.
And it's a community. And I wish more people would take a look at how the musicians act with each other.
Yeah, no,
They could learn something. Definitely. Oh, gosh. So, are you going on tour at all?
No, actually, we're not. We're in between. We're writing songs right now, and so we're not preparing to tour. We have a new booking agent from Italy who's gonna try to work with us. You see, our thing is we're not a famous band. We're not known yet, and so we're at the very early stages of our career, even though
Yes.
we've been together for almost 4 years. And so we don't have a tour, a major tour planned yet, but hopefully
Right.
it's gonna come out.
But you'll have, and how about any venues locally? Are you still playing them in the meantime, or are you concentrating all on getting this EP out?
Yeah, we're not playing a lot. We're playing a little bit. Sometimes a club will call us, and then we'll go and we'll play our music. But we're really concentrating on this album, and it's kind of a phase where we need to play music and create new songs. I'm really hoping we'll have at least 20 songs going into the
Wow.
studio, which will be fully finished, arranged, and everything. And then with the producer who will say, okay, guys, let's take, there's 10, 11 songs. Let's do this, do that. That's our picture.
Yeah. Well, I think once people listen to your music and more people share it, things are going to change real fast.
Hopefully. We sure love playing.
Well, you're authentic. And what I mean by authentic, you're not copying anyone. And just as you expressed to us how the creative process goes, the members allow it to flow from within and come out.
Yeah, totally.
So that is total creation of a sound there, or lyrics, or whatever you're going for. And that is something no one can duplicate, because when you sing that at a venue or if you're on tour, people are going to connect to you because it's coming from here. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what we try to do this in our live performances. Always be really, really brutally honest with ourselves in primis, and then of course with the audience. And so I think people are feeling that. And, in the last tour we did when we were in Austria, Germany, and Belgium, we did one small festival. There was about 3,000 people or so, and they were all dancing and moving and yelling with us and stuff. So I think we really strive for that, to get this communication with them.
To get that connection.
Get the
where
connection.
they have to dance. They have to. I always love that. Of course, I'm the first one dancing all the time, to tell you the truth. I could talk to you for such a long time, but unfortunately our time's run out. Can
Okay,
you tell
well, thank
everybody
you.
once again where they can find you?
Yeah, of course. Well, it's www.smokethebees.com. So from there, they can branch out into, all the different, social medias. We're on Facebook and on Twitter and
Okay.
Instagram. I mean, we're basically everywhere on all platforms. And they're welcome to write us a little hello, and we'll write back.
Yeah, and I don't think think that a lot of people realize how much that means to the band members, because the reason they create music is because they want other people to listen to it. And that tells them you're listening to it, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's exactly it. We're always so happy to have, anybody, wave and say hi. We'll always wave back. And oh yeah, it's a pleasure.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, I look so forward to the new songs that's coming out, and you got to promise you'll get back in touch when that happens, and we can have you on again and
Absolutely.
see what's
Absolutely.
going on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Monica, for having us. It's really, really nice of you to do this interview, and we're really, from me and the guys who are here, really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much also. And you know what? Right now, I think we need another shot of your music. I'm ready for it.
All right, let's rock and roll.
Here you go. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.